Halito. Okay, I had planned on doing a little bit different. I'm at the Hampton Library right now, but I brought the wrong tools. Evidently, this laptop here doesn't work. I'll show you some things about Undrip and Adrip, which could be, our path to freedom. But before I get into that, I want to discuss Dane Calloway. And this is really important. Let's discuss a few of the things that Dane does. Dane Calloway created documentaries. And these documentaries are so well constructed. And he keeps out religion, which is a tool that's been used, to keep us divided. And so the fact that he creates these documentaries in a way that appeals to the masses is huge for us. And I want to make sure I give him a special thanks and a shout out for being the one that introduced it to so many people. Because it's important. So now we know we've got to take steps to move forward. And there's a lot of people coming at him from various communities, and the main reason they're coming at him is because he's providing truth and he's dispelling the magic that they have been using. He's dispelling the spells that have been cast. Because all they're doing is utilizing this information and to find the means to make money, but it's not a movement that's going anywhere. It's not helping us do anything. So the one thing that I noticed about Dane, he's not only is he passionate, which is why he's having such a powerful effect on people, but he's very approachable. I've been able to reach out to him on various live channels and immediately got responses from him. So you can't say he's not an approachable person. And he will defend everything that he has brought to the masses. Another thing he's done is he's shown the importance of research. Me, myself, I'm a big time researcher. Once I was told if you want to keep a secret from a black man, then put it in a book. That's something I've been on. And yeah, just like many of you, I've gone through the various stages and I've learned about the Kemetic sciences and I've learned about the history of Kemet and Egypt and all of that. And I've studied these various religious doctrines from Islam to Hebrew Israelite and so forth. And, but that's stuff that really can't be proven. I mean, maybe we are God's chosen people. I mean, there's a lot of things that point to that being a possibility as far as you looking at Deuteronomy 28 and so forth. So I can go for that, but I can't prove that. And so that's not something that we can focus on. It's not going to uplift our people in this moment that we're standing in right now. Now, let's discuss these naysayers that are coming at him. Y'all can come at him however you want, but obviously, and we can see it, it can't be stopped. You keep coming with these lies about him, but you're wasting your time. We're not falling for it. So instead of you trying to refute any information he's brought to the table, you'd rather defute where he got the information from or whether he gave credit to his sources and so forth. Y'all looking at the semantics of this. What about the information? Dispute that. And until you've disputed that, you're wasting your time. All right. So that's enough about Dane. That's enough about Sarnetta and his henchmen and Brother Jabari and all of them. They in the way. All right. So now let's discuss culture. And one of the things that I've learned from not only my own personal experiences, because I've met, people that may have been native, but even if they weren't native, they at least believed in some of the spirituality associated with natives. And so I was awakened to other things that, many of you others may find to be useful to you as far as connecting to nature. I'm not sure if y'all all get the same feelings that I get, but it was maybe 3-4 years ago when I actually took my time and I planted a garden. and just having my hands in the soil and watch the creation of what will come for what I invested into the soil come back to fruit. It was an amazing thing. And you see how we are interconnected with the environment to the point where, plants need us because we give them the carbon dioxide. And we need the plants because they give us the oxygen. So it's a relationship that we have with nature, and one that we were in line with. But because of what the colonizers have brought to us, we have lost that connection. Certain things you can look at, just like rubber shoes. Everybody got the Nikes, everybody got the new LeBrons, the Jordans, and they all come in rubber shoes. And yeah, because this urban environment we live in, it might be a little dangerous to walk around, without a serious amount of protection for your feet. But I'm telling you, that's all by design. It's so that you lose your connection to the earth. Now, if you think about it, most materials are conductive, but they chose one of the main materials that does not conduct. You already know if you get struck with a lightning bolt, it won't conduct through the rubber. And so, therefore, you have no connection from your root back to the land that sprung you. That limits what you're able to do. We're involved with a government that constantly puts fluoride in our water supply. So now you have to go buy bottled waters, hoping that that's not tap water in there, which it very well could be, because I've seen reports that show that as well. So then you're looking at that. And this fluoride has been known to block your third eye or your pineal gland. So that also is done purposely to limit your abilities and what you're able to do. So there's a couple of things you might want to look into. So I've made a point to try to avoid fluoride. Another thing they put fluoride is in toothpaste. And you think about toothpaste. Fluoride is not a cleaning agent. So why is it in our water? Why is it in our toothpaste? Things they want you to take in every day. That's what they put it in. And it's for you to constantly calcify your pineal gland and your third eye to prevent you from being able to do more and maybe seeing things for what they really are. In regards to our culture, a lot of things that we need to get back to would include the various herbs and remedies, natural medicines. That's what we were on. And we were healthy. My people have lived 90 plus years easily without the medication of these colonizers. So why would we get into it? When you look at this medication and you're talking about, we're really discussing an ingenious plan to get people away from the natural herbs to put them on these medications that are not even designed to cure what you're going through. They don't provide cures. The FDA does not support anything that's going to bring a cure, because everything it does is about commerce. It's about commerce and how they can make money. They can't make money if they cure the disease. They make money by curing a symptom from the disease, which in turn gives you more symptoms that you want to get rid of that requires you to purchase additional medication. It's a trap. And you never be cured of anything. Next thing you know, you be 70 years old taking about 30 to 50 pills a day to deal with symptoms that's still going to only hurt your body in all types of ways. These are the things that they push, even when cure is out. When you have people like Dr. Sebi that came along and proved just through diet, he was able to cure AIDS. He was able to cure diseases such as diabetes, cancer. They thought they had him. They took him to the Supreme Court. And what did he do? He won. He won. So what have we been falling for? All these lies, all this made up stuff. They take away the good stuff, and they take away things that are relating to your culture to keep you down and to keep you oppressed. All right, another thing I learned from people in the Indian culture that may or may not actually be Indians, but they are now the ambassadors to our culture because they got some of the information passed down. And so I spent some time learning from them. And I learned about the use of crystals. But the odd thing about it is crystals is also used in technology. Let me give you an example. Quartz crystal, and this can be found in the Earth's crust. Guess where else you found it? Almost every clock that exists has a quartz crystal in it. And they use this to be able to tell time. Almost every cell phone in existence has a quartz crystal in it, which is the device that allows them to communicate. Although they're using, I think it's piezo electricity in order to make this happen. But what you find out is that you were able to use these same crystals in different ways. But they've dumbed us down to the point to make you think that we didn't have these abilities. What do you think they got the concepts from? You can use these crystals. Get back to your roots. Find out what you're capable of. Okay. The last topic of the day will be the path to freedom. And there's quite a few different things that we need to discuss. Now, the first topic is, let's talk about our heritage and the ancient physical battles that we were exposed to. Okay. There are over 500 treaties, and there are over 500 indigenous American Indian tribes. But many of these treaties were with the same tribes over and over. Why do you think treaties kept being introduced? Here's an answer. One, because they was getting their tail kicked. We have never, and I mean never, lost physically to the colonizers. We lost to the pen. The pen that used us, broke us down through land allotments, played on differences. See, if you give one person this and you don't give this person that, then you bring the crab in the bucket syndrome. It's no different than the projects, the ghettos, and they call it a project, which what's that? A science experiment. They let you know what they're doing to you. They're subtle, but they don't hide exactly what they're doing. You just have to pay attention to see what's happening. So they didn't beat us physically, but they whipped us, and they whipped us good with this pen to make you forget who you are, to lose your connection to your ancestors, to the point where you claiming that you came from a whole other continent that you know nothing about and have no relation to. Yet, our people accepted it because we were looking for something. We was looking for something to claim. Well, every 20 years we get a new identity. And so it was a ploy that was ingenious and quite effective, but no more. Because that brother Dane Calloway started bringing us the truth, showing us documentaries, investing his own money into esoteric information that normally would not be exposed to us. And for that, I do appreciate him for it. And for all those people that call him King Dane Calloway, or he's our Jesus of the Aboriginal community, blah, blah, blah. You're looking for something. Keep grasping at straws. This is all you're doing. Now, I will give you this. To me, he was like a Moses. Why? Because he came through and he told Pharaoh to let my people go. And then he came to us and he provided us with the proof to show us that we can be free. And so, yeah, I'll give you that. All right. So, we've been losing to the pen for a very, very, very long time. They whipped us with a pen. They whipped us with a pen. Then they came through, and even under the moniker or the misnomer of Black and African American, they continue to whip us with a pen. And they use things like And if you notice, every other group got some type of reparation. And the reason being is because they knew who they were. They didn't have any treaties with blacks. What black land are you from? They didn't make no treaties with a group called African Americans. And so therefore they owed nothing, which is why we got nothing. You got to know who you are. Who you are. Got to know it. And we can reach our salvation through unity and with the pen. But let me tell you why. So you saw how we got whipped with the pen through the civil rights. We're currently getting whipped through the pen right now. One more thing about Dane Calloway, he's not just giving out information to help make us think. But what was it? Yesterday I saw a video that he put on. He's dealing with current events, things that we cannot just continue to let go. All right, so this police officer who was off duty at the time just murdered one of our people. And they already had a connection. It was obvious things that she knows that she was not at her apartment. There are witnesses around there that claim that she was banging on the door and arguing was going on before she even got in. Yet she gonna tell these lies. And it looks to me like they're trying to acquit her. They're treating her like she was on duty, not off duty. They found police equipment and papers in his apartment. How did it get there? How did it get there? Come on, man. Come on. We cannot continue to fall for anything. And we're going to have to go out here and stand up for those things we know is wrong. We have to. We got to get back to that. We have to stand on the united front. We just let, over the last 4 years, thousands of Mexican kids be stripped from their families and encaged in closed down Walmarts in cages for 23 hours a day. And what are we doing? I don't see any protesting. What is up with that? In this country, 20 years ago, the American public would have never allowed that to happen. And we are the examples that they follow. If we don't stand up, who will? Nobody's going to stand up. They follow what we do on everything we do. So if they can get us to sit here and diddy bop and dance around, then that's what they're going to do. And twerk and all of that, then that's what they're going to do. And they're going to watch. And they're going to laugh. But what are we doing? Who are we fighting for? You mean to tell me we're going to allow the Aboriginal people? Because don't get it twisted. These Mexicans are definitely blended in with us, which is why they get treated the way they get treated. Because they have rights to their lands. And they are from the American continent. And they have the same rights and privileges and indigenous rights that we all have. So how are we going to allow them to force them just to be on a certain part of this continent? Yet people that have descendants that come from a whole different landmass, they get to work. Don't have to pay taxes for 10, 20 years. Come in, granted stores in our communities. But those that are actually really from here don't get anything. Wake up, y'all. Wake up. All right, so let's talk about the path to freedom. Now, I'm not the authority on this because I'm just getting into this. And yes, I'm a scholar and I've studied many different things, but I will admit, and I've been on this heavy. I've extensively studied this community and the things that in our past and our histories and our cultures, but I haven't put the time in it that maybe other people have. And so maybe they can tell you the path to freedom better than I can. But this is what I'm seeing so far. Step number 1, got to find out who you are. You have to find out who you are because you need something to claim. Now, yeah, we already know by the 2020 census, you have a right to self-identify. But who are you going to identify with if you don't know who you are? So that still requires you to do some research. Now you have quite a few lines of family lineage that you can go through. And you may not get all of them. Because I know for a fact, Walter Plecker from Virginia went through and changed the records for a lot of our people. Especially those coming from Virginia, and everywhere it was used. They used it everywhere. So there's a lot of documentation that will be hidden from us. That's hard to get. And I did this research for a while. And I finally did have a breakthrough last week. And so I can relate. The process is not easy. Maybe you got to take a break, give it a couple days, come back, but stay on it. Because it's there. You're going to find something. They're good, but they're not good enough to erase all the history. So you're going to be able to find something. So make sure that that's your first step. Find out who you are. I don't know if you want to go. I found Family Search. It's been a good engine that is free. I did ended up having to upgrade and find out Ancestry was much better as far as that endeavor. So I'm paying that. But one thing I would say not to do is give up your DNA. Let me explain why. DNA can be broken down. But first, the company may not be reputable. And they may just be giving you lies. There was a couple that sent in their DNA along with the dogs. And the dog's DNA came back with human genealogy. So it can be a lie. So know who sources that you're dealing with. Let's say it is a reputable company. You still need to understand exactly what and how the scientific process of DNA works. All right, so if you are a male, they can see both your X and your Y chromosomes. And they can look at your direct lineage. So they can see your mother, your mother's mother, your mother's mother's mother, your mother's 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 mother. And on the Y line, they can see your father, your father's father, your father's father's father, your father's father's father. And this is all. That's all they can see. Nothing else, no more. Okay, so that being said, let me explain this. Now that's only with the male that they can see both sides. If it's a female, they can only see the maternal mitochondrial DNA. That's it. All right, so let's say they're using male. And so you're being tested. You think they'll give you this percentage. You're this percentage that. You're this percentage this. That is BS. That's garbage. There is no way a percentage can be given for something if they don't have the entire pie. All right, so let's look at it. In one generation, you have 4 grandparents. Every generation, that number doubles. The next generation, you have 8. After that, you have 16. After that, 32. Let's just stop there. That's only, 4 generations back. Okay, so just within 4 generations, let's see how much you lose. All right, so when you have 4 grandparents, they can see 2 of them, if you're a male. Okay, if you're a female, they can still only see 1. But we'll just stay with the male for the purpose of this. All right, so when you have 8 grandparents, they can see 2. When you have 16, they can still only see 2. When you have 32 grandparents, guess what? They can only see 2 of them. So 2 out of 32, you explain to me how you could tell me what percentage I am of anything. All those lines that you can't see, I could be 100% something indigenous, native, but you can't see it. So your science is flawed. And for all those people that's going out there giving up their DNA and thinking they're getting actual information, I'm just here to let you know, it's not. It's a hoax. It's a fraud. And this is the problem that I'm having with it. Why are they pushing it so hard? What do they have to gain? And then I think the answer just came to me so easily. Over 15 years ago, a woman paid $50,000 to clone her dog. So at that point, they were allowing outside sources to use this technology To clone a dog, $50,000. So what, y'all don't think they cloning people by now? 15 years ago they did that. You don't think they cloning people? You entrusting them with your DNA? What are they doing with your DNA? Be careful. Be careful. They won't get my DNA. I got an issue with these hospitals as well. Because already they're not trying to cure anything. So why every time somebody goes to the hospital, they want 4 vials of blood? What vampires are they feeding? But that's another topic. That's another topic. But no, you gotta stop entrusting these people. We have to get beyond the need and necessity to be a part of those that's been their purpose to keep us down the entire time. We have to get away from that. It's imperative that we get away from that. Alright, so you find out who you are. After you find out who you are, you organize your family. Because those people have the same lineage that you do, fall into the same boat. And so you gather strength from that. You tribe up and learn your culture. You gotta know what your people practice, what your cultures are. And then you have to overstand your rights. Alright, so let me give you an example. On the research that I just recently found out, I have a descendant. Let me make sure I get this on. I want to be accurate with it. Alright, I have a descendant who was a soldier of the Chickasaw Battalion in 1862. He was also a jurist. He was the governor's expressman, and they still tried to deny him. And he wasn't proven to be who he was until after his death. I have a maternal grandmother who was also Chickasaw, but she started out as Alabama, and she had been kidnapped and ended up being raised by the Chickasaw Nation. And now she's classified as full-blood Chickasaw as well. And then her son is also Chickasaw by blood. But those last two members I spoke of, they were also members of the Snake faction. And I thought it was interesting. When I came up with the name Flying Snake, it had nothing to do with this. But then you see how things just align. Now, the reason why I had chosen the snake in the first place is because that's the animal that I feel some type of connection to. And even in my Chinese zodiac, I was born in that year, the year of the snake. Now, I also understood that our culture also has a prominent place for snakes. It's nothing like what the colonizers pushed on us. And so I came up with the name Flying Snake. But then to come up to find out that I got two ancestors in my family that are from the Snake faction, also I think was key. So I have the proof now of who I am. And from here, yes, I could go and join the tribe. They don't have a blood quantum with the Chickasaw, and so I could just join that tribe. But it's a federally recognized tribe. And the people that I had that stemmed from this tribe were part of the Snake faction, which is a group of people that fought against all these changes that were being made, against every treaty that they ever had, except for the very first treaty. And so I feel like I would be going against my ancestors to accept anything else other than to fall under the very first treaty that we had with the United States, as well as the Constitution for the United States that was written by our people. Not the Constitution of the United States, which they changed and brought in this commerce and admiralty laws later. It has nothing to do with us. I should fall under the organic constitution and only deal with those common laws. So, that being the case, I will have some contact with the tribe, but I've yet decided whether to become part of it to the point where I end up getting that federal recognition that I think I don't even want. Okay. Who am I to go against what my people fought against the entire time? I can't see it. Now, after you've done that part, the next step would be to overstand your rights. Yes, you got to overstand your rights. Because this is the one advantage, and this is the most advantageous time that our people have had in centuries, literally. See, because we got whipped by the pen. Oh yeah, we got whipped by the pen. But guess what? Just recently, within the last 10 years, the United States got whipped with the pen. They got whipped back. But the media didn't let you know, huh? The media didn't tell you? Did you look at the United Nations Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People? Undrip. Or maybe their American Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People, Adrip. Get on it. These are your tools. These are international laws that now protect us. All right, so there was 144 nations that approved it in the United Nations. There were 4 nations, 4 that fought against it. I didn't bring that information with me, but I know a couple of them by heart. 4, not all the United Nations, did not want to be a part of this, did not want to help out the indigenous people of their respective lands. Guess who they were? Oh yeah, United States, Canada, New Zealand. These are the places that have definitely directly affected us and our people. And they were the ones that did not want to back up on it. Why? Because they owed the most. Think about it. Not only did they steal your lands, steal your identity, enslave the people of this land, hit the people of this land with paper genocide in order to make them forget who they were and their rights to this land. Yeah, that's what it did. And just as the tip of the iceberg, they owe a lot. They owe a lot. And now we have these tools in place that give us various protections. Things that can help us in the courthouse. And so, like I said, I don't know everything about it, but just as I was going through it, I saw so many opportunities to protect us. And it's all based on us practicing our beliefs and our cultures, and to prevent them from continuing to do the same tactics that they've been doing. Their playbook hasn't changed. Their playbook hasn't changed at all. So there are things that we can do. And so I need those people that are paralegals or versed in law. Holler at me. I'll drop my email in the description. Get at me. I need a group of people that want to get together and try to comb through these treaties and comb through this information and find out what things we can do to protect ourselves. Because the documentation is here. These documents protect us and force the states to uphold certain statutes and certain rights and that are inalienable to us. So we got to get on it. Another thing we have to do is control our spending. Because like I said before, that's the main thing they care about. They care about the money. And we're some of the biggest spenders in the world, even though we don't have a lot. So that being the case, we got to come together. They will require some unity. It will. I mean, and I know it's not easy because I've seen people try to come up with these. Well, let's not buy gas on these certain days to force the hand. It can be done, but we really will have to unite and control our spending. Because once we control our spending, they will have their hand out and they will beg us. They will beg us to be a part of whatever we got going on, because that's all they care about. They want the money, and if we stop giving it to them, they come to see us one way or another. We got to learn more about nation building. We have rights to build our own nation within this nation. So all those people that are versed in the law, that have a good understanding and want to help me put this together, get at me. Get at me. But that's where we got to get to. We got to master these tools. And so that's going to be one of the things that I'm focused on. But I ask you, make sure you understand who you are. Make sure you understand who you are. And if anybody outside of the Aboriginal community is coming at one of us, it's a reason for it. It's a reason for it. Because we digging in their pockets now. They can't do the things that they wanted to do. They've been grinding all this time, putting out false information, fake propaganda. Just like groups, because they're doing this through the entertainment now. So those that are in the making films, get at me. I got some concepts. We need to get that information out to our people. For those in the education system, they want to attack the education system to make sure that they respect our cultures, to get the truth in these books. Get at me. I'm down for it. I want to push that because they're getting our youth when they're most impressionable. 5 years old to 12 years old, outside of your household, compulsed to do these things and forced to assimilate. Nah. We past that. We past that. For those that are herbologists, that are getting these medicines, get at me. We can do this together. For those that are designing various products or whatever it may be, get at me. We're going to get this together. We got to network, control where our money is going, use our own resources, trade amongst one another, get away from their programs, get away from their foods, fight for our own lands. There's so much we can do. And we're finally at a position that we can. We got what we need other than each other. That's all that's left. We got the laws. We are the most inventive people on the planet. What else do you need? You put us in the cotton field, we make the cotton gin. We're responsible for almost nearly every invention that's happened since the colonizers came here, whether we got credit for it or not. This is who we are. It's in our nature. Get at me. Let's do this. Peace out.